All right, so we are shooting Emerge episode 7 today, here with Garrett. So thanks for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for asking me.
All right, so we usually start, well, I guess first we should talk about why you're here today. So you graduated from Winona State probably about a year ago, last May, right?
Yep, it's been about a year and a half now.
Yeah, and you've been working with Startup in Town Prevent in business development and marketing.
Yep.
And then what we wanted to talk about today was during your time at Winona State when you helped launch their Entrepreneurship Club. So we'll talk about that a little later.
Well, it was an interesting ride, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so you have just talk about entrepreneurship in Winona among college students and kind of what that scene is there. Because I don't think a lot of people here know about Winona that much, what's going on there. So be interesting.
Yeah, certainly.
But yeah, so we usually just start kind of talking about what went on in the entrepreneurial community last week and what went on or is going to go on this week coming up, because it's going to air on Monday, even though it's Thursday now. So
there we go.
There you go. Yeah, so did you go to anything interesting this week?
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to this week. It was just it was really busy with work and things outside of it, and I'll have to make it up next week.
Yeah, me too. I had a lot on my schedule I wanted to go to. I wanted to go to the Mid-City Beat starting their What's on Tap series, and they talked about affordable housing on Wednesday.
Is that at the Forager? Is that where they have that?
It's a Forager, yeah. I think it happens once a month, but I'm not sure. So it's on our calendar, so I'll have to keep up with that and try and make it. You put all these things on your calendar, and then trying to actually make it to it is like a totally different story.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Were you able to go to the 5 Things a Startup Should Know last night?
I didn't either, because those were at the same time.
Yeah, I haven't even had the chance to review it on the Facebook yet.
Yeah, so that I'm sure was beneficial, learning how to navigate legal aspects of startup. Today, or Thursday, Steve Ecker, one of the professors at Mayo, was talking about this hatchery concept, and within Mayo, which will be a place where companies can go and hatch ideas to go to the next phase. So that's
sort of like the incubator type idea.
Yeah. But my perception was it'll be within Mayo, so that'll be
interesting.
Something interesting. Next week, Monday or today, when this is airing, the day this is airing, the commission's having their professional development panel. I believe it's at Grand Rounds, and they're going to talk about leadership. Okay. So that should be cool. I haven't been able to make it to one of those either, so that would be kind of an interesting thing. I think they're talking about leadership currently, what it takes to be a good leader and what kind of skills you need to develop to fulfill that role.
Right. So. And what time is that on Monday? Today?
5:30.
5:30.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm pretty sure it's at Grand Rounds. Check the calendar.
They host quite a few events there too. So
they do, so I think it is. Yeah. So that should be good. Now the big thing next week is the Mayo Clinic Transform Conference. So that takes place from Wednesday to Friday. It's always kind of focused on obviously transforming healthcare, sustaining healthcare, and this year it's focusing on closing the gap between people and health, so trying to make healthcare more affordable.
Interesting.
So
it's a concern, especially in southeastern Minnesota too.
It's a huge concern.
I was at the economic summit, and there was a woman from Winona that was talking about starting a company, and however we do have great healthcare, the costs are higher in this area. But,
and I think that's always on the top of everybody's issue now with the Affordable Care Act, all these kind of modifications being talked about for it, and what that's going to look like. It's not getting any simpler. Yeah. It's not getting any simpler. I was listening to it a little bit on NPR this morning, and now the idea is kind of to give money towards the states to kind of invest in how they see fit to do whatever, whether it's, subsidize some of these plans or, or subsidize healthcare because the plans wouldn't exist, I guess, anymore. But yeah, it'll be interesting
to see how it plays out. Right.
It's a lot, and like you said, I don't think it's going to get any simpler anytime soon. So that should be a good one. And then we always have happy hour on Fridays at 4.
4 o'clock in the Blue Duck.
In the Blue Duck. They have some good specials, so.
Yep. Good time.
Awesome. So yeah, hopefully next week we'll make it to one of those things.
Try to make it to all of them, yep.
Yeah. Always try.
Yeah.
Usually fail.
Yeah. Depends how nice the weather is too. You have to sneak in,
Yes.
these nice days before it gets cold.
Well, is today or tomorrow, the 22nd is the first day of fall? I don't know. Anyway, it's
felt like
hot
we had
out
fall.
today.
Was it last week or the week
Yeah,
before? It seemed
so
a lot like fall.
It's weird.
Yeah.
So, anyway, moving on. So we wanted to talk today about, the Winona Entrepreneurship Club and kind of entrepreneurship around that area. So do you want to talk just to start kind of about what the club is and what kind of the mission was with that?
Right. Well, it was pretty interesting how it started off. Me and a few friends a year prior to the official start of it were thinking about it, but then we were just bombarded with other activities, and so it just was put on the side. And a year after, a professor really recommended that we get to it and start it. And Winona, as you know, it's a very entrepreneurial-driven community. You have Fastenal, you have Windcraft, Peerless, Chainmiller, Ingenuity, and a lot of these companies are market leaders. And so we were really exposed to a lot of that, and with that, it has a specific energy. And so I was approached in regards to starting that, and once we got it started, we really wanted to start it with the goal of bringing in people from not only business, but bringing in people from the nursing, from even when it comes to the biology, or even creative writing, or even in the arts, whatever it may be. We wanted to bring them all together so we could really just collaborate and just think and create something. And so my time at Winona State was really just getting it started. We didn't really have the opportunity yet at that point to participate in the Warriors Innovate Challenge.
Yep, I've heard of that.
Right.
Yep.
And the idea of that was really kind of behind the MIT 100K.
Okay.
It's where it's really developing, well, you start off by giving a pitch. And then if you move on from the pitch, you're awarded some funding and resources to then create a prototype. From the prototype phase, then at the end of it, it really comes down to the competition of really pitching your product. And so along those stages, you're given different access to whether it's lawyers and some of those legal assistants, or really just being put together with a community member to learn more about what it takes to take that product from an idea and really get it to the market. And so there's a lot of different things starting to happen, and right. I wish I almost had another year there too, just because it's a really exciting time for those that have an idea, that are really ready to take it to the next level. Right. And I know last year when they started the Warriors Innovate, they didn't necessarily have the turnout that they were looking for. Partially due to maybe the students were just a little bit cautious, or they were scared.
They don't know what it is. When it's new, it's hard to gain traction too,
right,
among students too, as well as the community, for sure.
And everybody has these ideas, and so we at Winona, they really just want to start getting those ideas out on the table and just helping people take those next steps, because a lot of people have all these ideas, but nobody knows how to get it from that idea to get it on paper, to just begin going through the lean startup or the Canvas model. And so it's really valuable that they're getting that started.
And if you can start learning that when you're in college,
right?
Imagine how much further you are, whether you're starting a company or not, just going into a business and, understanding more of the day-to-day operations and growth. And
you get the foundation.
Exactly,
and what's special about being in that sort of collaborative environment too is, you're exposed to so many different people. And so a lot of my best friends from school, we were all in a different focus, and we can all talk about and bring something different to the table. And so it really just opens up your perspective, and you can ask questions, and you can learn, and go on from there.
So what does the Winona Entrepreneurship Club do specifically to kind of foster entrepreneurship and business development among students? So you have programming and all kinds of different things, right?
Well, right. And so I've been disconnected from it for the last year and a half, really, since I graduated. But really, they're bringing in different speakers. And I know a gentleman, Dan Hampton, he's working as an executive in residence at the College of Business. And he was a part of the initial Fastenal IPO. And so he brings a lot of experience to the table. And I saw on their Facebook page, at Winona Entrepreneurs there, that he was going to be coming in and discussing really, if somebody needs help, that there is help, and that they really want to get it started. And so they're looking at attending different national conferences and conventions and just really getting out there. And so with that, it comes along with just raising money for the club, and just really just trying to create an organization on campus that has the traction. And once you're an established organization on campus, then there's some different funding and resources that become available too.
Yeah, it's always necessary to keep it going, right?
Right. And I believe they've been having 15 to 20 active members. And so
that's pretty good.
It's good to get it started. And when I was first in the College of Business, it seemed that most of the student organizations were around that 15 to 20. And it seems like those that were 15 to 20 now have 30 to 40. And so hopefully, in time to come, that they'll begin growing too.
Yeah. So do you know over kind of the length of this club, how many students have been involved and what kind of that impact has been in the college and the community in Winona there?
Well, I know they're really just getting started, really getting out in the community. But I would say there's probably been about 60 students that have been a part of and graduated and moved on. And as far as any specific ideas that have really developed, I'm unaware at this point. There was a student, Calvin Johnson, created everybody knows a bike station where you can hook up your bike and just park it. Well, at Winona State, a lot of people are longboarders, and so Calvin and his friends developed this longboard stand so you can lock your longboard instead of taking them to class and everything else. And so now across campus they have these new longboard docking stations. Cool. And so I think their goal is to, at some point, is probably to expand that outside of Winona and do some different college campuses and things.
Very cool. So so there's really like student innovators budding up and kind of getting assisted by this club and the education and the opportunities that it provides.
Right, and it really aligns with what the College of Business is doing too. It's really just creating their more is their slogan now, and you can do that by participating in things outside of the classroom. And so there's a big push because it's not always what you learn in the classroom, it's how you apply it outside of the classroom.
Right.
And it was ironic because I was just listening to a Bloomberg radio. I listen to Bloomberg a lot. And they were discussing about these students in New York, what's the difference between now and 5 to 10 years ago. And it's really that active learning.
Sure.
And so it's great to see that Winona State and colleges are just really getting the traction, and they're moving forward on really what it takes to appeal, especially to students now.
Yeah, no, I completely agree that active learning, whether it's something like this, like building a concept out to a marketing stage or a small business or even getting real internship experience, that active learning is so important.
Right. And me especially, I'm like a hands-on learner, and I'm not very good at sitting for a long period of time or just working in one spot. So
well, it's kind of an old model too. I mean, how much you can learn so much from books, and then you need to like apply
really
your
dig
skills
into it,
to
right.
something.
And then it really soaks in too.
Yeah. So why do you think? So why were you really interested in starting something like this? Why do you think fostering these entrepreneurial ideals during college is something of value?
Well, we said a little bit earlier, it provides the foundation for later on in life too. And especially in college, your risk level is much lower. You don't really have the expenses, you don't have the family and everything else at that point too. And if you need the help, it's there. And so really what I miss most about college is the intentional learning. That you're forced to learn, really, and you take it as it is and you learn. But once you're outside of the campus, you graduate and you move on, you have to purposefully learn. And so I really do that through podcasts and things, but it's hard, especially when you're driving rather than the radio. And that was a difficult transition. But with students now, if they could just take advantage of the help, and there's incredibly intelligent people that they're surrounded by, and everybody wants to help each other succeed, and so it's a really cool environment to just enable that.
Very cool. Well, if you want to learn more, you can go to their Facebook page at Winona Entrepreneurs, and I'm sure there'll be people there willing to talk and get connected into the community. Yeah,
Eric Mullen is their president this year, and Calvin Johnson is their vice president, and I'm sure their information is on the page too. If anybody has any questions or would like to help or speak, I'm sure they would be more than happy for that too.
Yeah, no, that would be a fantastic idea, getting some entrepreneurs even from Rochester, to talk to students.
Right, and especially with the Rochester Global Entrepreneurship Week getting pushed back. It would be great to see a lot of the student participation in that too.
Absolutely, and that's coming up November, I think it's the 14th through the 17th.
It's going to be here before we know it too.
Oh, it is going to be here before you know it. It will be. All right, well, thanks so much for doing this today. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, thanks, Amanda.